Hello everyone and welcome to another beer review. Now, recently I was requested to review a beer that I couldn't get locally, so I actually had to buy it from the brewer's website. And with all the kind of shenanigans of them charging me ridiculous delivery costs and everything else, they said that I could basically buy another 8 bottles of beer without my delivery charge or delivery costs increasing. So basically I bought 8 bottles and I could buy another 8 bottles for the same delivery costs. So still costs more for the actual beer though. I still have to pay for the beer, but I wouldn't pay any extra for my delivery. So what I ended up with buying was Marston's Pedigree, because this was on sale and I got 8 bottles for £12. It was £12 or £12.50, one of the two. So I thought, why not? Just doing the thumbnail. And there we go. So, Marston's Pedigree, 4.5% amber ale, bottle conditioned. And I've just dropped some, I don't know what this is. Oh, I'm getting older, do you hear that? It was me all there. Is that you? Oh, that's me. So, there's a bit of spill in the back. Introducing Pedigree, or P as it was first known. Strange that looking back. What the fuck is that about? Introducing Pedigree, or P as it was first known. Strange that, looking back, and that's the sentence. Strange that, looking back, full stop or period. And then it's got, anyway, it has a fascinating aroma with a palate of biscuity malt, spicy hops and light fruitiness. It was renamed in a staff competition back in George Paird's day. He was our head brewer at the time, and that's him on the front. Cheers, George. That's him. There you go. He was a looker, wasn't he? Oh, the lucky ladies, eh? That's some flick he's got there. Couldn't actually do his bloody shirt up, could he? Look at that, lazy bugger. Yeah, top button undone. Slovenly. There you go. And what's with the bottle conditioning? Bottle conditioned beers contain live yeast, which smooths and enhances the depth of flavour of the beer over time. The maturing process from the yeast also means the flavour is much closer to the cask Pedigree you'd taste in the pub. Recommended, here we go. Store upright, serve lightly chilled, pour with care to leave the natural yeast sediment in the bottle. And there we go. So it's 4.5%, it's 500ml, and yeah, it's basically for 8 bottles it was £12, £12.50. So there you go. Is there anything at the top here? Here we go. What's this? What's with the 3 barrels? Burton, the town. It is Marston's, the Burton Union, our unique brewing system, and DE14 Innovation Brewery, brewing the future. So there you go. Burton-on-Trent. Is this actually brewed in Burton-on-Trent? Where is it actually brewed? Produced by Carlsberg Marston Brewing Company, Burton-upon-Trent. So it's a Marston's brew. So this was actually brewed in Burton-upon-Trent. So there you go. The problem is I used to like a bitter, a Burton bitter. I think it was called Webster's. It used to be about in the 90s, 80s and 90s. It kind of died off kind of the late 90s. It was basically bought over and then of course discontinued as usual. So yes, I used to I quite like a few kind of beers from the Burton-on-Trent area. So let's crack this open and see what it's like. Now apparently it's bottle condition, so we'll check to see if there's any kind of sediment. Let's see what we're getting with this. What I'll do is I'll do the next split. That's not so bad. So that's been done at the next split. So basically what I do is I use this as a kind of filter. So it goes from there to there, what fills up. But I don't really see any kind of sediment there. See, it's all foamy in there. Right, anyway, I'll check it. But this is what it looks like anyway. And I've got no sediment at the bottom of the glass there, so that's okay. Can't see anything. There you go. I don't mind sediment anyway. I'm a home brewer, for God's sake. I'm used to it. I mean, it's not a good home beer unless you're picking flakes or something out your teeth, you know what I mean? Oh, it's a great one, nah. What would you give it? What would you say about the aftertaste? Crunchy and chewy. But, yeah, it's kind of amberish. What does it smell of? I'm getting a bit of fruitiness. Probably a little bit of biscuitness, a bit of maltiness to it. I don't really like using the biscuit kind of analogy so much. But yeah, I'm getting kind of slightly kind of maltiness with a hint of sweetness. A little bit of fruitiness, kind of dried fruit. I'm getting. Not really getting any hops. So I'm not. Just dive down a bit to see if there's any. No, there's a bollocks. Can't really see any sediment for a bottle conditioned beer. Jesus, they hide that yeast well, so they do. Must be transparent. So, let's see what it tastes like. It's not too bad actually. Got a nice kind of slightly bitterness, light bitterness in the aftertaste, which is quite nice. I'm probably getting a little bit of sweetness in the aftertaste as well, so there'll be a little bit of yin and yang, as I've said before. So yeah, you get a bit of bitterness there, but you're just getting little accents of sweetness there in the aftertaste, which is a bit kind of more interesting. But what am I getting at the front of the mouth? Yeah, you're getting maltiness at the front of the mouth. But what you're not getting is the kind of sweetness that goes with it. So you expect to get a little bit of sweetness, but it's not really developing. It's like kind of hinting it's going to give you that little bit of sweetness at the front of the mouth. But it doesn't actually deliver. It kind of teases, but doesn't actually give you what you think you're going to get. So you're getting kind of a maltiness there. But you're getting a kind of blandness as well. So you're getting some slightly malty flavour. But it's like getting the, it's like a handshake. It's like sticking your hand out for a handshake and the other person goes, fuck you. You know, it's like that type of situation. So you're just left there hanging, and that's what it feels like. You're getting the maltiness and you expect, here comes some sweetness and malty sweetness, but no, there's no sweetness. And you kind of feel like you're left hanging a bit, which is affecting the kind of connection between the front of the mouth going on to the kind of mid-tongue. Yeah. Yeah. And then when you move on to the mid-tongue, it's a bit strange because you do start to get a little bit of sweetness. But again, not from the malt. You're getting kind of slightly sweetness from the kind of slightly dry fruit accent. So you're not getting a kind of malty sweetness, you're getting slightly kind of a slightly fruity sweetness, but it's just kind of done in an accent. So in the mid-tongue, you're getting a bit of maltiness, a little bit of grain, and just like these little accents of kind of dried fruit, light dried fruit, which is giving you a little kind of accent sweet tones. So you're getting nothing in this kind of base layer. So you're getting maltiness without the kind of malty sweetness, and it just feels a bit kind of strange to me from that point of view. Slightly kind of teasing, but not really kind of giving you what you expect is going to be coming. And then you move on to the kind of aftertaste. And yeah, you get a bit of hoppy bitterness in the aftertaste. But again, you're still getting these little accents of sweetness. But again, nothing coming from the malt side. Absolutely nothing. It's going to deaden the water from the malt side. So yeah, a bit of a strange one. I mean, it's quite nice, but from the front of the mouth is a bit off-putting because you expect it to go one way and it just doesn't. And I don't know, it just feels it doesn't start very well. It's quite of a lame start from my point of view. Gets a bit better in the mid-tongue and finishes better. So it's like weak at the front of the mouth, gets a bit better in the mid-tongue and has a better finish. So it's better at the finish than it is at the start. So there's an imbalance. So it's like there you are with the finish, there you are with the start, and it's like kind of a diagonal kind of going between the two. That's what it feels like. So yes, the finish is better than the start and the mid-tongue, which is usually, you expect a kind of more of a bang kind of start to it and a decent kind of mid-tongue. I mean, the mid-tongue, I'm not saying it's not decent, it's just ever so slightly lacking. But it's also following on from a kind of a disappointment start. So your first sip is like, if you're going to take a second sip, it would be definitely based on the aftertaste and not in the front of the mouth. It's just, no, it's a bit strange. And it's a wee bit kind of, not completely mild pond, but it's a wee bit kind of, yeah, you know. Pedigree, it's all right. I mean, the more I drink it, the more, I'm not going to say I enjoy it, but yeah, it's okay, it's drinkable. What would I give this out of 10? There's a question. It's kind of difficult because front of the mouth, it's lacking. Mid-tongue, it's okay, nothing special. Aftertaste, yeah, it seems to kind of improves and kind of settles down and kind of delivers a bit more in the aftertaste. But it's like too little, too late from that point of view. I mean, good beers deliver from front to back. They don't think, well, I'll just don't bother Marston until, you know, it's like a football match almost. It's like, well, we'll just go through the motions for 85 minutes, and in the last 5 minutes we'll give it our all. It's kind of a bit like that. There's a football analogy, so there you go. But no, it's, to a certain degree, it's disappointing is probably the best way of putting it. And from that point of view, it's kind of, I mean, if the aftertaste wasn't the way it was, because it's actually quite a nice aftertaste, I would probably have given this a 5. I'll be totally honest, I probably would have given it a 5 if it didn't have that aftertaste. But I would say it probably gains a little half a point from the aftertaste because it has kind of saved it a bit. So I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10, just because the aftertaste is probably worth that extra half a point. But without that, it would just be a box standard average beer, nothing special. It would be like 5 out of 10. That's the best I could probably give it. And I would probably say I was being a bit generous if I gave it 5 out of 10, just because it could have been quite easily 4.5 to 5 out of 10. But with that aftertaste, it's kind of recovered a bit. It's kind of saved itself a little bit. So yes, I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10. But yeah, would I recommend it? It's difficult. If you like a beer with a flavour of malt and obviously have a little bit of malty sweetness, then this beer isn't for you. You're going to be disappointed. If you like the flavour of malt but don't want any kind of real sweetness at all, unless you're getting a little accents of fruity sweetness and getting a little bit more of that in the aftertaste than you have anywhere else, then this beer's right up your street. I wouldn't say, now there's, how would I change this? I'm not going to say I recommend it, but I'm not saying that I won't recommend it. My view is watch this review. I'm giving you the best I can of the flavour profiles. If they sound attractive to you, or they sound more kind of up your street, then yeah, give it a go. If you expect to get a little bit of malty sweetness with kind of malt flavours, then this beer is going to be a problem for you. If you like everything in the aftertaste and nothing really in the kind of front of the mouth and kind of mid-tongue, then this beer is for you. If you like a more balanced beer, where it's a case of you've got to have the front of the mouth, the mid-tongue, and the aftertaste all kind of working together to give a nice kind of balanced beer, so it's you're getting the enjoyment from front to back, then I would say this beer isn't for you. Is probably the best way of describing it, because there is an imbalance to it, in my view. And while it's unoffensive than everything else, I've tasted better beers. So I have. There's plenty of beers out there that I could go and spend a similar money to and get a far better beer, and I've got to be honest from that point of view. So it's okay. It's 5.5 out of 10. It's 4.5%, if I'm remembering rightly. 500ml bottle. I don't know what it is in the shops, but it's going to be under £2 a bottle in the shops anyway. So, and I've been buying it from Marston's website. It was only for about £12.50 for 8 bottles. So, thanks for watching. Cheers, and bye for now.